Hello, my name is Emily Sterner, and today we'll be discussing instructional design modules for professional development. First, we will discuss the importance of professional development. Every year, people in the education field are required to complete training and engage in professional development. According to the president and fellows of Harvard College, professional development is gaining new skills through continuing education and career training after entering the workforce. Educators use professional development to develop new skills, hone existing skills, learn about new technology, and increase knowledge. Training is designed, developed, and implemented to provide further education for faculty to help them meet the needs of their students. During the training, educators will watch videos or presentations, engage with hands-on opportunities, ask questions, and be given time to collaborate with others to learn how to implement better what is being taught to them during the training. Examples should be given so the learner can see possible ways to integrate, and time should be allotted to use the skill or technology. First, we'll discuss the ADDIE model. The core elements of the ADDIE model consist of analysis, design, development, implementation, and evaluation. Throughout each step, an instructional designer should continually evaluate the design and perform revisions as necessary. According to Stevanik and Zhao, the ADDIE model is the most popular instructional design model and is often referenced in K-12 higher education and training programs. The generic and dynamic processes offered within the 5 stages of the ADDIE model allows for flexibility and space in how different steps and procedures are performed. Hester Elcombe notes that initially the model was linear, but over time it has developed into a more interactive process that allows designers to move back and forth between the phases. Reiser and Dempsey note that as data is collected and the team gains new insights, it may be necessary to move between the steps of analysis, design, and formative evaluation revision. They note that the self-correcting nature of this model is one of its greatest strengths. Hester Elcombe takes us through the stages or phases of ADDIE, and we will use this as a base when discussing its use for designing professional development. When designing for professional development, instructional designers will conduct a needs assessment, design objectives for what skills need to be acquired or honed, develop a program that helps educators meet these goals, implement training, evaluate if the objectives were met, and revise if needed. During the needs assessment, instructional designers must work with their clients, such as the teachers and leaders in the school or district, to assess what knowledge or skills the teachers need. The design phase sets the objectives of the professional development. According to Reiser and Dempsey, objectives need to be measurable so that after the training is completed, the skills and knowledge of the educators can be evaluated to see if the desired outcomes have been achieved. The development stage focuses on the production of the proposed content for the training. The content should be tailored to the needs of the educators. This can include creating instructional videos and giving out reading materials and any other material that may be required to facilitate the training. The designed materials or training is delivered to the intended audience during the implementation phase. After the training, a formative and/or summative evaluation will be conducted. Reiser and Dempsey state that the formative evaluation involves collecting data to identify if there is a need for revisions. The summative evaluation includes collecting data to evaluate the overall worth and effectiveness of the instruction. Evaluations are completed using questionnaires, surveys, or assessments that can be used to assess if the objectives have been met. If the goals were not met, the training should be revised. The revision step involves making the needed changes based on the evaluations. Next, we will discuss the 4C ID model. Stefanik and Zhao describe the 4C ID model as a descriptive model that assumes that 4 components work together for a complex learning system. These 4 components can be seen above. They are learning tasks, supportive information, procedural information, and part task practice. The authors note that this model supports instructional design in education settings and has been used when developing professional training programs. Frere-Jean and Associates detail each of the subprocesses connected to the 4 components. The first component is linked to inductive learning. This refers to the construction of cognitive schemas that form from varying concrete experiences or examples. The learning task component helps achieve this by requiring the integration of knowledge, skills, and attitudes. The second subprocess is elaboration. This refers to constructing cognitive schemas by linking existing prior knowledge to new knowledge. This is done using the second component's supportive information. This is presented through lectures, workshops, books, or multimedia learning materials. The third subprocess is rule formation, a process where cognitive rules are formed through routine aspects that are similar across different tasks. This process is stimulated using procedural information, which presents concrete, step-by-step instructions when the routine needs to be performed. The last subprocess is strengthening. This is stimulated for routines that should be carried out automatically and do not require cognitive effort. The use of part task practice helps enable this process. Ferragine and his associates described the 10 design steps for 4CID and proposed a process for using this model to create professional development training. Here you can see the main processes, subprocesses, components, and the 10 design steps. The 10 design steps include design learning tasks, design performance assessments, sequence learning tasks, design supportive information, analyze cognitive strategies, analyze mental models, design procedural information, analyze cognitive rules, analyze prerequisite knowledge, and design part task practice. The authors of this article propose recording short videos from the classroom and conducting interviews with teachers and faculty involved to provide an overview of the knowledge, skills, and attitudes that help form the input for the creation of learning tasks. Learning tasks should be designed based on real-life professional tasks and allow the learner to practice all routine and non-routine aspects simultaneously. The learning tasks should be engaging and help implement meaningful discussion, planning of lessons, and practice of skills in the classroom. Learning tasks should represent real-life tasks that a teacher may encounter. The authors then move on to the second step, design performance assessments. The task should be broken down into constituent skills to create a decomposition of skills and performance standards. This helps provide the input required for creating a performance assessment. During this phase, objectives should be created based on information gathered in discussions with school inspectors and experts in the field. Assessments should be implemented at the end of the training to see if the goals have been met. Step 3 is sequencing learning tasks. All activities, supporting materials, and coaching should focus on developing the necessary skills and knowledge. The sequence should be constructed in a way that does not overwhelm the learner with too much complexity. Design supportive information is the fourth step. Supportive information such as educational videos, examples, lesson plans, and reader material should be developed. These materials help guide teachers and give them examples of how to carry out tasks. The Analyze Cognitive Strategies step provides systemic ways to approach a task in a domain. The cognitive strategies that experts go through to approach a task are described. These include the main decision-making points and rules of thumb that can help an educator perform each of the phases. The necessary knowledge about how a domain is organized is developed during the steps for analyzing mental models. Experts can give insight on the domain knowledge they use for reasoning and decision-making. During this step, specific activities can be added to help address common or perceived misconceptions. Steps 7 through 10 are used for designing procedural information and part task practice. Designing procedural information is used to help the learner construct cognitive reels in their long-term memory for the performance of routine aspects. Teachers should consult existing manuals and experts and workshops to help them master these routines. During the designing of the professional development training, expert teachers and subject matter experts should be invited to provide feedback and engage in deliberation to lead to more refinement of the design. Here are my references. Thank you for your time.